Hello everyone and welcome back to the AWS studio here at Mobile World Congress Barcelona. I'm back with Sean Casey, Senior Vice President of Product Management at CSG, where we're going to unpack the impact of cloud and SaaS on fundamentally reshaping telecom economics, particularly as we think about xVNE business models. Sean, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, great to be back again this year.
And it felt just like yesterday. You were right here in the studio talking about the 6-week journey of integrating generative AI services and Ascended. How did that huge success shape the rest of 2024?
Yeah, well, it was a great thing to build on, right? So there was a lot of buzz, obviously, last year on AI and still through this year. And so we wanted to show what we could do very quickly. Partnered with AWS and was able to get a model rolled out in 6 weeks, as you said. So huge success for us to show what was possible very, very quickly. And then we've just been building on that with more and more models that we've put into our products, and now starting to look at agentic AI and obviously looking at things like Bedrock and how we utilize that in our products, which has been a great journey for us.
So a lot to unpack here with AI. We'll get to it, but I want to start with the topic at hand in cloud native. Often described as a technology and technology only, but I think now it's really starting to connote business outcomes and real strategy. What are you seeing?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, we were one of the very first to actually move to a true cloud native platform and partnered with AWS very early on for that. The reason we did that is we just realized the network effect that we're going to have on AWS. It was going to be very, very easy to take full advantage of not just cloud infrastructure, but actually the managed services of AWS and the value proposition of that. And now we're actually seeing the industry start to come around to that after about 6 or 7 years of maybe, kind of being a little bit behind on it. We're seeing them really fully embrace it. And the reason for that is exactly what you said, the business outcomes. All of the operators are trying to drive down TCO and increase innovation. Having a platform like AWS where you can not just put your workloads onto the platform, but actually truly innovate through new services like, again, Bedrock and things like that, it's a huge differentiator. So we're seeing them all pull that into what they're trying to accomplish as their goals.
So I think you touched on something really important in TCO. As we think about the value proposition of cloud native as a whole, how are you seeing the TCO narrative in particular changing?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So there's a lot of operator pressure right now from competition, but also regulation. And so it's forcing the operators to really think about how they digitize their business. That started with digital channels, right? How do I deliver a better experience to the customers? Now it's coming back to the operational pieces. How do I make doing operations easier, more automation, using things like AI to drive the value proposition of that operations forward? That's really what we're seeing in terms of that change, is it's moving from digitization of channels to digitization of operations. And we think that's a huge success for the operators because they can actually modernize their back-end platforms and infrastructure.
So as we think about operations, we're seeing a fundamental change in behavior from reactive to proactive. Can you provide a few examples?
Yeah, so basically what the operators are looking at right now is anything that requires kind of human input or oversight, how do they get into a place of automation or better yet, predictability to that? One of the examples that again, we kind of touched on with AWS is how you actually proactively offer the right offers to your customers. And most of these operators today have retention programs where they have agents specially trained on retaining these customers. Huge operation for them to be able to run and service that. If you can actually move that to a predictive model where you're anticipating what the customer is going to do, maybe they've had a poor billing experience where they had a big overage, maybe they're in an area where competition has come into and they're going to see new offers that are going to compete for them. In the past, all of that was driven by like a retention department that had high expense to it. All of that can actually be automated and moved into a proactive care situation for those customers. We're trying to reach out to them before they move somewhere else and show them that there's a better path for them on your products and your company.
That's awesome. And as we zoom out for a second and start to think about the industry shift toward NetCo-ServCo split, how are you starting to see some of those xVNE models develop?
Yeah. So that's a place where operators can actually run, really in a new and different way, especially on the innovation side. For so long, they were building their networks to serve subscribers, right? They were getting valued on subscriber growth, retention, ARPU, and those types of things. We think that's kind of peaked or plateaued. And so the operators need to look at how they actually use their assets in new and different ways. What they're finding is they can get different valuations if they can show that openness to the network. So now they're having to launch new platforms where they're actually enabling new and different ways to access that network, creating really kind of an ecosystem or economy that's based on the network access itself. So that's where the xVNE model comes in, right? As you access that network, whether it's your mobile network or your fixed line network, offering that to a number of different providers and letting them build services on top is a huge differentiation.
So operators asking asset valuation, that being a key question. The second question I hear all the time is, how do I strike that right balance between business agility and things like cost efficiency, operational controls, and security?
Yeah. Well, again, I think that's where the network effect comes in of a partner like AWS. So something like security, when you have just such a huge infrastructure network, you're going to have best-in-class security. You're going to have to know that you can prevent or repel any type of cyber attack that may come up. Operators trying to do that on their own, they're going to struggle because they just don't have that same network effect. So being able to take advantage of these hyperscaler platforms where you can get things like security baked into what you're doing, get things like automation of resiliency, failover, duplication of data, all of that comes with balancing basically that trade-off of having best-in-class platforms and innovation, but having it be carrier grade at the same point in time where you know it's going to be up and running and reliable to the expectation your customers have.
And are those some of the elements that you value most about cloud partners?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many different things that we value, but basically the ability to come in and like instantly start working on something is a huge differentiation. We've had interns come in for summer programs where they've built machine learning models in 8 weeks, right? So just having all of that at your fingertips, not having to worry about deploying anything anymore or managing databases is a huge advantage for us.
So if we look at a time horizon slightly larger than 8 months and maybe look the 3 to 5 years, what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think we're most excited about that. We think this transformation to move to cloud and SaaS is well underway, and we think we will actually see that carry through the entire industry over the next 3 to 5 years. Right now, we're doing it at the fringes. We're seeing greenfield launches go onto that. We're seeing some transformations. But we think the next 3 to 5 years, that's really going to be the way that you do business. So things like Salesforce, right, that have really transformed CRM, we're going to see that take hold in the rest of the telecom industry. We think that's a great spot for vendors to be because we can offer services that help them on that transformation, help them become the new operator they need to be for the next 3 to 5 years.
Another tremendous year of collaboration with CSG and AWS, innovating on our customers' behalf. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean. And for folks tuning in to the AWS studio, you can learn more from industry leaders like Sean about how cloud and SaaS is fundamentally transforming telco journeys. Follow us on LinkedIn, visit AWS for Telecom on the web, and on behalf of the AWS for Telecom team, thanks so much for joining us.
Great. Thank you.